All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. How's your chicken noodle soup?
Delightful, actually.
What was your main course?
I had a little cod today, Bo.
Oh, a little cod.
A little bit of cod for the kids. You know who likes cod? Maybe it's a lot of cod. Maybe more than anybody else on the planet, honestly.
Is it somebody I know?
Yes.
Nana.
No. The Rock.
Oh, The Rock likes cod.
He eats a ton of cod.
Well, you said somebody we know. I meant like that I knew, or somebody in our circle.
I thought you were saying like, was I just naming some obscure cod man?
You know, since my IG was hacked, I have not rejoined, and so I've missed out on.
You're missing out on a lot.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I guess I don't think about it very often about what I'm missing out on. But one of the things that I am missing out on is I did like his like cheat meals and his Terramana toasts and all of those things. I found those enjoyable, but I don't have that now.
Just create one. It takes 2 seconds. And like I don't have everybody that I used to have in my catalog.
It's kind of a protest. It's kind of like,
I know.
Look, if you guys can't get it right, then I'm out. Gibby just tried to weigh in, but he couldn't because he didn't know his mic was on or not.
It's unbelievable.
That's great.
Sorry, I still haven't.
Don't cut your nose off.
I still haven't added Zagura as a friend back yet.
That's what he was trying to get in on.
Friends with Miss K, though.
Haven't. I mean,
the great Miss K. One of the great documentarians.
Yeah.
She's the Ken Burns of social media.
She is.
Yeah. She's spectacular.
Speaking of documentarians, this new Sideline to Sideline series produced by our incredible video team gives you a documentary throughout the entire game, runs you through it. If you haven't watched it yet, watch it. It's Goosebump City. You're going to get excited. And here's Kevin Stefanski.
As good as anybody.
You're down.
Have a very stout, tough physical defense, experienced corners, so really have to make sure that we have a tight plan going into that. And then special teams have always done a nice job, really, in all the phases. So we've got our work cut out for us, but we're looking forward to the challenge. With that, I'll take any questions.
Obviously, losing Cam's a big blow to their defense. Is there can you quantify what it means to take a player like him out of their defense?
No, I don't think you can. I'm sure you don't replace him with one person. I think they have multiple guys. They added to their depth along the front in the offseason, so I think it'll be multiple guys. He's a great player. We've played against him many times. I got a ton of respect for him.
Smith kind of emerging to pair with TJ. Just the fact that those two guys are coming off the edge, how does that change maybe some of the things you can or try to do on offense?
Yeah, it's a challenge, and it's very similar to what we talk about with our defense. With Miles and Obo and Z. Anytime you can balance out a rush like that, it makes life really hard on an offense. And I think you saw last week with Watt getting 3 sacks in the game. Highsmith is always going to affect the game, pressuring the quarterback. So it's certainly a challenge, and you have to take that into account as you're designing your game plan, both run and pass game.
DeJuan Jones starting this game and having that challenge of going up against a TJ Watt.
Yeah, I think oftentimes you want to break it down to a one-on-one matchup, but the truth is it's our offense versus their defense, and certainly with the rushers that they have on the other side, you have to really look at it that way and say it's our scheme, it's our players. Certainly with DeJuan, he's going to get plenty of opportunities versus TJ Watt, who's a premier rusher in this league. So those are the competitive nature of our game. It does come down to one-on-one matchups at times. So I know he's going to work really hard this week to prepare himself.
Some things to clean up, but how impressed were you that he was able to just step in a situation where he was quickly on the field?
Yeah, and it's really, and every rookie is going to have, and veteran is going to have things that they have to clean up. So he's working very hard to do that. I think with a week of practice, with him getting every rep in there, I think will make a difference as well.
Was the Philadelphia practices a turning point for him? Because it seemed like he was promoted after that.
I don't know that I'd pinpoint it there necessarily, Tony. I think it's a body of work with all of our players. And Coach Callahan works hard with all of the players to make sure everyone's ready to go. In this case, DeJuan was the next man up, but I think all those guys have to be ready to go.
See DeJuan's personality that makes you confident that he can handle like the big stage of Monday night, TJ Watt's first NFL start?
Yeah, I think it's important for all of our players to narrow your focus going into Monday Night Football, like you mentioned. I think you really have to focus on your job and doing your job. DeJuan's played at a high level in big games where he went to college. You're going to play in some big games, so he understands that. But you can't and he can't make this about just him. It's really about our offense versus their defense in that regard.
Go ahead, Mary Kay.
I was just going to ask about, Kenny Pickett, picked off twice, sacked 5 times, young quarterback, how do you expect him to rebound or respond from that kind of thing?
Yeah, that was a unique start to that game. It really got away from them early, so I think they, only rushing the ball 10 times. We don't expect that from them. So he's a very good player. We've played him. We know what he's capable of. Athletic, can make every throw, fits their scheme really well. So we have to make sure we have a good week of practice.
When Mike Tomlin had his press conference, he said the Browns begin and end with Mr. Chubb. So the balance that you guys have offensively, how is that going to help you on Monday night?
Well, I think every single game we look at it, Jeff, just what do we need to do to win the game, and how do we have to adjust to win the game, and that's how we put the game plan together. I don't think it's any secret what Mr. Chubb is a big part of our attack, a big part of what we do. So, but we feel really good about a bunch of the different guys.
Out of the 49ers, that they were able to have such success with McCaffrey running the ball against them?
Well, it's a very, very stout front. I know he had that long run. It was fitted up, just had a missed tackle, which happens with Christian McCaffrey, who's a great player. So to think that you're just going to automatically have success versus a really good front is not the case. You have to work really hard to put a plan together to be sound in what you're doing, and then it's really just a physical game when it comes to the run game in the AFC North. That's just what it's been and what it will always be.
None of the passing game, number one, them not having Johnson, it looks like, but 2, you guys have seen George Pickens make some big plays in this matchup, just how you can account for what they do there.
Yeah, he's very, very challenging, as you know, because you can have him covered and he comes down with the ball. He's a great 50-50 ball receiver. He's very good with the ball in his hands. I mean, he can catch and run, so we know what he's capable of, and he's not the only one. Great tight end. They have multiple guys, Allen Robinson, Ridley, Calvin Austin, excuse me. They have guys that can touch the ball on the outside and go. So it's really, you have to be very cognizant of all their players, not just one player, but Perkins is a great player.
Rookie minicamp, you only have 2 tackles, I believe, in camp, and so the reps were quick. Deshaun Jones had difficulty and got a little testy about it and got in Callahan's face. How has that relationship evolved?
I don't remember that, Tony, if you say so. Every rookie has a different relationship with their coaches. We push them hard. DeJuan's been extremely open to every type of coaching. Coach Callahan, Coach DeCoster, Coach Peters, he works extra, has never shied away from working. So I can't characterize their relationship, but it's a one that is definitely predicated on the work.
One not practicing today. Is this a multi-week thing with him, or are you confident that he has a shot for Monday night?
Yeah, I would characterize it as day to day. We'll see how it goes tomorrow, really.
Go back and watch the film of Deshaun. How much of his passing woes had to do with the rain, and then how much of it just had to do with he was off on a few things, and if so, what does he need to do better?
Well, I don't think you're going to make every throw in any game in perfect conditions, and those were tough conditions. So I think both teams saw that in the passing game, and I think that spoke to a lot of the lack of success that really both teams had in the pass game. Fortunately, we were able to make some plays in there, some explosive plays, which is really important, but as a quarterback, your focus always has to be on making the plays that are there, knowing that you're not going to make every single one, just really trying to hone in on your decision making. So that's just a focus for all of our guys.
Deshaun's ability to extend plays and then make stuff happen downfield. When you're talking to him and coaching him, how do you balance that with, hey, we need to get the ball out of your hands in a hurry some plays because you don't want to get hit all the time?
Yeah, I think what you try to do with players that have Deshaun's skill set, you're always trying to make it work within the framework, and you're trying to take your drop and maybe make a plant throw or a hitch throw, and then sometimes guys are covered. So that's part of his ability is to go off schedule and make a play when it's not there. We work hard to get guys open. Doesn't always happen. So as you get through your progression, there is a timing element that tells you it's time to either get the ball out or start, moving in the pocket, start trying to find a scramble drill. So that's something that's innate to what he has. That's innate to who he is. And it's certainly a big part of our offense as well.
You mentioned that AVP had added that draw play on Saturday. Was it already in the playbook, or was that a modified version of something else you guys have run?
Yeah, already in the playbook, but that was a Saturday morning, me and AVP over coffee discussion, and and that's what happens in this game. Sometimes you get through the week and you feel like you need one more play, and I don't love to install plays that late in the week. I'm very, very careful not to do that with the players a lot of times, so that's rare that we do that, but we just felt like there was something there. May happen this week, may not.
A lot about wanting to create a home field advantage, and the record shows that you're doing it. But what do you think about Pittsburgh's home field advantage? Is that the toughest place to play?
Yeah, it's hard for me to say that. I've played in a lot of them, Tony. They're all tough. I think when you go on the road, going into any stadium that is full, it can be a huge challenge, and really that's the big thing, and we talk about it at our place, is crowd noise, and having to deal with crowd noise and function in crowd noise and be able to do a great job communicating on the sideline, in the huddle, at the line of scrimmage through the crowd noise. So every time you're playing on the road, it feels like that's a huge challenge.
Given that the tackles have trouble there at Deshaun Jones, what kind of special training can you do other than piping music?
Well, of course, we'll use crowd noise. We always do when we're playing on the road. That's something that we've been working really all off season with the offensive line, and that's just, again, part of your road operation is using that silent count, and it's, you're right, the tackles, the tight ends, everybody has to lock into that.
The Steelers are 20-0 in their last 20 Monday night games at home. Is that something that you guys keep in the back of your head, or something that you just kind of have to drown out and forget about?
Yeah, it's really not something that affects us this week, us going into this game. We really have to narrow our focus and really worry about doing your job on every given play.
The two deep throws to Marquise, how much of those kind of coming up short were like those two just not being on the same page because they haven't been together, the weather? I mean, what were some of the factors?
Yeah, I think the first one was absolutely a heavy, wet ball that's hard to drive. The second one is versus a blitz and a coverage that you have to get the ball launched quickly, and you're going to get hit when you throw it, and probably didn't put it exactly where we wanted. But again, that if he does, that's a plus play by the quarterback versus cover zero.
Like, even though those didn't hit, does that give you confidence that those explosives are going to be there?
Without a doubt. And I think, again, it goes back to those opportunities are going to be there in certain games. Sometimes they're there a lot. Sometimes you're not going to find them, and you have to find places to go with the ball that maybe you wanted to throw the shot, but it's not there. And that's part of playing quarterback, is having the discipline when it's not there to check it down. And when it is there, you let it rip and you trust in your guys.
A little cramp for Amari there. He went down there just for a moment, first half.
Yeah, he's good.
With the wide receivers and Deshaun, just how have you seen, especially this week following game one, just kind of grow their communication, specifically talking about what they saw in that game leading into this week?
Yeah, I think that happens week to week. You try to grow what you do, and you learn from things that happen in week one and taking it to week two. You should do that week 2 to week 3 as well. There's a lot of communication that has to take place when you're talking about the quarterback and the guys that are catching the ball. So that's running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, constant dialogue in terms of how guys come out of routes, where the ball is going to be. So that's always ongoing.
You're taking basketball away from Miles, so he's still trying to live out his hoop dreams out there. What do you think of his crossover dribble?
It's funny, when Jim made that call, my eyes went right to Miles, knowing where he was going to be rushing. So I saw it right away. And listen, whatever it takes, he can go around the back next time if he wants.
Good.
Okay, thanks, guys.
You're up. That's where Miles is right now, wherever he wants to
go around the back, do it.
There was a great story told yesterday on McAfee. J.J. Watt was on, and he was talking. They showed the clip of Miles doing the crossover, And JJ goes, I've been there. I've done that. He goes, well, not that exactly. I haven't crossovered. But what Myles Garrett, and this is what I was trying to get to, I was trying to articulate it Monday, probably failed when talking about Myles. What JJ said was Myles Garrett feels unstoppable in scheme and in his own physical abilities. And he goes, I felt like that at times in my career where no matter what anybody did, the combination of my talent and then the scheme I was in was at such a level that there was no stopping me. And he goes, that's what Myles is doing right there. I thought it was such a great way to articulate. To do that in the first quarter of the first game.
First drive.
Yeah.
First drive, 6th play of the game.
Yeah. That's there's no answer for me right now, kids.
It had a little Larry Bird to it in that he was like, look, I'm going to cross over your face.
Watt mentioned that as well.
He
actually told him what he was going to do.
And then did it. That's what Larry Bird would do. Take 2 dribbles to the left and then bust it in your face, Chuck Person.
Yeah. The kid they got playing Bird on Winning Time is really good.
I have no time for Winning Time right now. I have no time to consume it.
That's not true. You watch all that Bachelor stuff. So you do.
That's on in the back. That's what, after a long day of work, that's what the lady likes to wind down with. So, I like that show. I want to watch it, intently. I'm more Bravo, scrolling. All
right, very good.
I am watching The Bear, though. That's one that we're...
Oh, you finally... Yeah. Oh, I've seen all that watch that one in real time. We
only have 4 to go. It's great.
There's one coming up that is as good as anything you'll see. I want to say it's the penultimate episode, I think it's called Forks.
That's what
or Knives or Forks or something like that.
Beatbox, who's a very difficult TV critic, says that he thought that this was better than even Succession. Said it was the best TV of the year, in his opinion.
I don't know. That's high bar. It's really good. It's very, very good. It's not as I don't know that it's not as fun as Succession. Succession's a lot of fun.
There's no Woms games.
No. There's no tomfoolery or ballyhoo. Yeah. All right. Coming up next, the Browns are back at practice. Remember, this is from their perspective a Wednesday program.
That's right.
So we'll get to that, get you some injury updates from everybody there. We've got a Thursday night football game. You're going to hear from our quarterback, Deshaun Watson, a little fantasy advice. It is a Mailbag Thursday edition of the program. Get those questions into Gibbe at Browns_daily. He'll take care of you there. Those are the hot topics, though, presented by Vivid Seats. Head to Vivid Seats to purchase brand new premium terrace experience. Your tickets come with pregame field pass parking, all-inclusive food and beverage, and lastly, a $50 Browns Shop gift card. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats is official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns. We'll go around the league. Also get you set for where the team is this week. Coming up next, we're off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Into the program, Brownies back in practice today, starting preparations for the Steelers. As I mentioned, this is a Wednesday in the NFL world. If you play on Monday Night Football, 2 Monday Night Football games this week. From an injury perspective, Cam Hayward having surgery today to repair that groin, expected to miss 8 weeks.
Wow.
Monster loss for them. If that timetable is correct, he'd be back the week before we hook up again. But obviously no Deontay Johnson. Dude, the AFC North ravaged by injury week 1. Steelers just battered. Ravens battered. Bengals came out of it unscathed. We lost Conklin, which is a huge blow, loss. But also from the standpoint of because of DeJuan had been such a revelation, and I'm not suggesting that necessarily he's going to be good as Jack right away. That would be a ridiculous assumption. But because he proved so capable in the preseason, it's one that it probably hasn't gotten the attention it deserves.
No, I think you're exactly right. I mean, when you have a 2-time first-team All-Pro go down, that's a significant loss, no matter how you look at it. And if you go back and you look historically, Conklin, has done a pretty good job against T.J. Watt. And in fact, it was the game that Conklin missed on a Monday night after he got injured against the Baltimore Ravens a couple years back when James Hudson started at right tackle and T.J. Watt had a career-high 4 sacks. I think the Steelers had 9 sacks, I want to say, in that game, which was not pretty, and much was bad about that outing. But no, it is a big deal. DeJuan Jones, had he gone through the draft process in an exemplary fashion, is probably a first-round pick.
He's a 1. He was mocked as a 1 before the process starts. He was at the whole time.
So,
it only was because of the rest that he ends up being available. Yeah,
which is great for us.
Huge win. Huge.
So I feel it's a big deal. This is a big test. It will get easier. This is one of those situations where we say it will get easier after this week. But I think, when you look at the Steelers defense and the loss of Cam Hayward, I really think this is an opportunity to, we're going to play probably more of a pound it type of a game against them, because when Cam Hayward's on line, they give up as a team over 5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And so I think the Browns have every opportunity to take advantage of that now with Cam Hayward out, and that when you're able to run it or run it right at him, that's the other thing. Go lean on him and push him.
Yeah.
Make him push against your body repeatedly. Get him in the run game. Run at him.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have to do that. And you got to do that. The guy that we really got to slow down, and we're focused so much on DeJuan, it's the other side.
It is. Yeah,
Alex Highsmith has had his way against the Cleveland Browns. He's got 6 sacks in the last 3 games against the Browns, at least 1.5 sack in all 3. So Jed Wills, and you go back to the Conklin injury, it's easy to see how that ultimately ended up happening. Jed Wills has got to be better in this game against Alex Highsmith.
Well, even in the opener, Jed Wills was far more shaky. DeJuan was not shaky at all. He was an oak. I mean, he was spectacular in the opener going up against Sam Hubbard. So, no, it was Jed who's going to have to take the step for sure. Do you have a problem with me making this statement about week 2?
I don't know yet, but probably not.
This is where I'm at. I think because week 1, you're playing 17 games now instead of 16. For some teams, and we saw this a little bit around the league on Sunday, that once it started to go bad, they kind of just was like, all right, we'll see you next week. Like Cincinnati definitely had that approach. Like once Burrow got sacked the last time, it was like, all right, we're done. In fact, they pulled it. We're done. We'll see you next week. We're good. See you next week. Nothing to see here. Nothing. To me, week 2 feels like, all right, this is who you are to start the year. Whatever you show out in week 2 is kind of like what you're going to be for the first, in the old days, the old first quarter of the season. That you've gotten the full training camp, you had the break after camp, you get, for some teams, what they consider like a bye. Like, so I'm thinking about Seattle. I'm thinking about the Rams. I'm thinking about us. I'm thinking about Cincinnati. Like, I'm thinking about Pittsburgh. 49ers, I think, are who they are. But, like, is the first game who you are, or is the second game kind of like, okay, this is who they are?
So I look at it maybe more holistically than one game, because in this league it is true to a very great extent. I think that styles make the fights, and matchups are very, very important. I think that after the first 4 weeks of the season, you have a pretty good idea of who you are and what your identity will be and what you're going to be able to accomplish. And I'd go back to let's take the Browns last year for example. You get past Carolina, you blow it against the Jets badly.
Yep.
You then come out and showed the ability to dominate the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then the loss to Atlanta. that to me showed the issues we had in our run defense, which would permeate the entire season. It would show our inability for the most part in close games to be on the right side of it. You think take that one, we were 1-2 in the first 4 weeks in close games, and that ended up being a problem for us over the course of the season. So I think that it's another data point, but I don't think like who you are in week 2 necessarily determines them, because if it did, you'd look at the Bengals last year and be like, well, then they're not going to be a factor.
I just mean in the first quarter, not for the season.
For the first,
but like for this first stretch, and honestly, kind of make the point for me a little bit with what happened with the Jets. Like that ended up being who we were.
Unfortunately,
we were that team.
Yeah,
we were the team that couldn't close. We were the team that wasn't good on special teams. We ended up being that over the long term. And I just think it's like what happened. What seems to happen a lot of teams in week 1 is that some of them are kind of like treated as like another preseason game. Like they're quick to push in the chips and be like, Seattle kind of did that.
Yes.
Pittsburgh kind of did that. It was kind of like, not that they necessarily had answers to the test, but it was kind of like, this really isn't worth it to keep fighting in this. Giants, several of them were kind of like, all right, we're good. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Season starts next week. There's a lot of teams this week that have, Cincinnati's got a lot on that game hosting Baltimore. They do not want to be 0-2 in the division.
No.
Not at all.
Most certainly
They were 0-3 last year in the division before winning their last 3 and ended up winning the division. If we can go to Pittsburgh and win and stop a 20-game Monday night streak, not winning over there in the regular season since 2003, not being a favorite over there since 89, if you're able to exercise those demons on a team that I think you're substantially better than, that to me bodes very well for what you're going to be through the first quarter of the season and then some. All of a sudden, there's momentum to it.
100%. I think that this is, to your point, this is a very, very important game for the Cleveland Browns.
Oh gosh,
I think it's a very important game, and that's why we talked about yesterday, even with Grant, how exciting it was that nobody's resting on their laurels here in any way, shape, or form. This is a team that realizes we had one game. One game doesn't mean anything. We were 1-0 last year.
Yeah,
doesn't mean anything. You got to go take care of your business, and I think that the pieces are there. It's all there. And the same holds true for this team. This team is capable of doing whatever it wants to do ultimately, right? That's the reality of it. The talent is here on this football team. If the execution in all phases matches up to the abilities, this team is going to be one of the best teams in the NFL, a team of great consequence, and a team that should contend for a Super Bowl. You are better than this team. We are better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have not.
Yeah.
It's been a house of horrors for us, save for a playoff game that was played in front of no one.
Yeah.
And started with a snap over the head for a touchdown. Other than that, we have not gotten the job done there. I have yet to be there in the regular season and see a win in my entire time with this organization. So this is an important game. It's overcoming something, and now that doesn't mean something to everybody on this roster. You think about how many people are new. How many people have changed over. More than half the defense is brand new from a year ago. So it's all, like we said, with this team, it is all there. I think that it would be, if we go out and have there are no bad wins, but if we go out and have what I would call another kind of definitive or decisive win, and especially showed the ability in the third, fourth quarter to put the foot down and separate.
Yep.
And take a game, seize a game in those critical moments as we did. We got the better of every big moment in that last game. That will tell me that this team is really ready to win in very important situations.
If you watched their game against San Francisco,
I watched the whole thing.
It was second screen for me, so it didn't have my full attention, but it was on in the periphery. They were bullied. They were pushed around, beat up. Like, if you can do that to them in their place on a Monday night with Renegade and all the stuff that they do, then you got some things.
It's another game where I feel like they are much more like the old Browns, and what I mean by that is they have a particular script they want to follow to be successful.
Yeah.
Get a lead, defense maybe score a touchdown for you, make a play for you, and then, Pickett can manage the game and you can run it with Najee Harris. When Najee Harris has scored in all 4 of his career games against the Cleveland Browns. He's rushed for 80 yards or more with a touchdown in 3 or 4. Guess what? They're 3-0 in those games. In the one game he did not, we dominated them on that Thursday night back in week 3 a year ago. So a fast start, like the way that the Niners got out to a fast start, I think would be very important and go a long way to having kind of the outcome that you want. One thing that I will add that I think is very interesting, and I wonder, what it's going to ultimately mean in this game, if anything, is that, and I think the tone was set. You go back and you mentioned that beat them up. The tone was set. Najee Harris's first carry, Fred Warner came flying through and literally leveled him. And that kind of set, to your point, the tone for the whole game. The Niners defense, now they have more pass rushing talent on the interior. We have more pass rushing talent outside, but when we kick one of our guys inside, we're right there with them because they have Hargraves and Armstead, and then they have Bosa. That's a 4-man attacking front. Mm-hmm. That's what we are. Kyle and Kevin Stefanski, because of the lineage traced all the way back to Mike Shanahan and Gary Kubiak, there are very similar concepts in both of our run games and our play-action games. And the Niners were wildly successful doing a lot of the things that are the core competencies of our team.
Yep.
And so I think that's an interesting thing to watch. Now, for the Steelers, you say, okay, well, we saw something similar. This didn't work. What are our adjustments? But the Browns are also going to be able to go through that with that same lens of saying, okay, if we did this to somebody, they're going to probably try. So I think we have a little bit of an advantage knowing and understanding what worked very well for a 49ers team that schematically is similar in some ways, not all, in some ways to what we do offensively and defensively.
I've put serious thought to going over there. And, I've never been to a game at Heinz.
You should.
Yeah. I just don't want to go over there and then,
it's going to be an awesome experience. Period.
I know it.
That you got to be.
But you can't be in our gear, can you? Is it dangerous? What do you think, Gibby?
I mean, I walk.
I'll just be fair. I would, as a Steelers fan, I would not walk into ours.
Yeah,
I would not want that.
I don't. I think you might be asking for a little trouble if you were decked out.
Bootsy'd be chesty too. I'd have to answer for that.
I think you'll be fine. I mean, I walk.
You could definitely go. It's worth going to a game there.
I walk amongst everybody in all, especially because typically we're playing there in January, and so that necessitates my down parka, which is full on Cleveland Browns, and my beanies are all nobody's ever said one word to me.
Yeah.
Now I'm not in the crowd,
not in the mix.
Pounding.
Yeah. Well, nor would I be.
But I would say their crowd, even when I've been on the sideline, as far as other places, it's been definitely.
All right,
for sure.
Giving it thought.
That being said, it's Monday night, and you've had 12 hours to liquor up.
Let me tell you something. It's going to be an electric environment.
It will be
I think that my favorite environments outside of our environment, when our places rocking, are definitely Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I mean, they're great stadiums. They do cool stuff. The crowd is into it. And you have a chance to take something from them.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. All right, we'll go around the league coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. right, join Z and Gerard on the Kevin Stefanski Show tonight at 7, the Browns Radio Network. Coach Stefanski and Browns corner MJ Emerson are going to join the show tonight. Yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
There you go.
That'll be great.
Be very exciting. You on location or are you
No.
studio bound?
Yes.
Yes. Very good. Very, very good.
Yes, no
Did you
location.
did you guys see the image I posted this morning on the social by chance? Of
The
that?
bug?
Oh, that's
All right, so I was, yes, and I'm very excited to talk to you about it. Okay. Using this pen cap, because I think it's good. Was it that big? Or is that too big?
Let's go over here, Griff. Let's go over here. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it was pen cap big.
Okay.
And as big as round as that one.
Okay, so this is
that
like what
type of girth. That's what you're looking at.
So this is the thing that I saw in Philly. You remember when that thing came at us, Gibbe?
In Philly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looked like a small bird, and it was like a waspy body.
Yeah.
So apparently, I did a lot of research on this.
Yeah.
I think they're cicada killers.
So I've seen this around, that this is it. Now, so this was like 6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
And I just hear a bzzz. That was kind of like a Howard Stern. That was like, right, a little bit of that. I just hear it in the kitchen. And it's like kind of dark. You know, sun's not really up at that time, so it's dark, and I can't really see, and I don't think much of it. And it come time to take NBC to school, and my wife gasps, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And this sucker is like, we have like 12-foot ceilings in the house, and the sucker was way up there in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like up like near a cabinet, right? So I go over, like NBC's getting ready. I'm like, well, that's a wasp of some sort. So I grab step ladder. I grab one of those, like those wire colanders that are like that have the handle on them.
Yep.
I grab one of those.
Yep.
And I grab a pot lid, like a lid for a pan or a pot, right?
Yep.
So the plan is trap it here with the colander. Give me a little bit of room for misses.
Of course, you need room.
And then on with the lid, eradicate it.
Yeah.
Outside. Let's get it outside. And then we'll deal with where it came from.
It?
I didn't want to miss. It's so high up. Like I wanted to make sure that I don't want to whack it. Like NBC goes, Dad, shoot it. With what? What am I going to shoot it with? Crossbow?
So there was a giant one in Arden's room, and I came at it with my fly swatter. I'm pretty good with this. I'm pretty handy with the fly swatter. And after about 3 swats, I did get it. Unfortunately, all 3 swats were in the direction of her Venetian blinds. And so there are cracks in the blinds where I got right through the full blind, but I did get.
You got it.
I got it.
Yeah.
But the blinds pay the price.
So this is my plan. So I got it. I get it on it. Lit it. Plan works. NBC goes, Dad's him. Dad is him. That's right, G.
Yeah,
so
you are.
I take it out. I take the thing outside, take him to school. I come back, and I see this thing, and I'm like, all right, I don't want to just let it go. Like, this thing has to meet its demise. I don't want it finding a way back in. I don't know where it came from, but, like, I don't want any part of it. So I'm thinking to myself, well, how am I going to dispose of this thing? While it's in, because now it's trapped, I can't take it off. It flies out. I'm cooked. Like, I have to contain the space.
Cooked.
Drowned in it.
Good.
Went straight to the hot tub, opened the cover, underwater, drowned.
Because then it's intact. Then you can.
Then it's locked in.
Then you can.
It
see
never got
you can
out.
Study it.
Drowned it.
Good.
So then I got to look at the species. It reminded me of 8th grade biology.
Is this what they brought out in Mexico? Did they bring this out? Did they bring it out in Mexico?
Felt like that. So and then so it's a cicada killer or like a European murder hornet of some sorts.
It's not a murder hornet.
It's not a murder hornet?
No.
It's a European hornet of some sort, is what the people said. Like all the people are telling me this. So we got some people coming to take a look at it. So in the I go outside in the morning. I'm like, where's this thing coming from? I look up in one of the highest peaks of the house.
Huge nest.
There's a nest of them up there. The blonde comes outside. I open the front door. I look up. She goes, what's that? Satellite camp. They're setting up a satellite camp underneath the front door, underneath the awning. They're up in there. I'm like, my God, we're under attack.
Yeah, you're under siege.
We're under siege.
You have a little infestation issue.
Can I tell you one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life?
Winter will freeze them out, right? But I can't wait till
No, you need them out of there.
They got to be gone.
The
I can't believe one got inside the house.
The problem is in the fall, once like tonight, it's going to be in the upper 40s.
Yeah.
Now they start getting aggressive because they know their demise is coming.
It's coming. Yeah, I
And
can't
you
wait.
don't need that.
No. You need.
I got
you need
exterminators
the
are coming
gone.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're done. I
Gone.
can't.
And then spray
I got
so
a
they
bug
don't.
man if you ever need one.
I got to get
Dave
a
the
bug
bug
man,
man.
too.
It's great.
He doesn't
I
have a
know,
name
takes care
quite
of
as
my
good as
stuff.
that.
It's a great name.
So, I mean,
Very good
if
name.
I'm going to choose
Yeah.
between somebody and Dave the Bugman,
Going with Dave.
I'm going with Dave.
Feels
the
like
Bugman.
he's got it locked
So I was
in.
watching in my.
I was terrified of this thing.
Yeah,
Like this thing. If
I
this
was
thing
running
turned on
around
me-
the fields in Philly. I thought if this thing came at me,
Yeah, you're gonna be. It's gonna be a problem.
It could. I thought it might take me down.
Yep.
You also thought like the woodchuck outside
There
of
we go.
the secret location was like some kind of I don't even know.
Listen, this thing. If this cicada killer thing came at me, I'm gone.
I had no fear of the woodchuck. I just pointed out
That he was in
that
the
it was
mix.
a marmot,
Yeah, marmot. Yeah, this thing was.
and it was big.
Formidable.
This wasn't scared.
Yeah, this thing. I mean, it was.
I think he was.
Why do we got Brian Fellows back here?
I'm Brian Fellows.
Jeez Louise.
Oh,
I was just saying the crazy thing I said when I was scrolling.
Yeah.
And sometimes like if you watch one just crazy video, then all of a sudden you're gonna end up with a lot of crazy
they all
videos.
lock in.
This guy in the South went to. He felt it was a scorned lover.
Okay. Oh no.
Went to, I think, the lady's house and was
no.
like, "You've caused me all this pain. You think I care about pain?" Grabs a wasp's nest with his bare hands.
That's stupid.
And then sticks it in his mouth and starts eating it while ranting until it becomes clear that he is now barely able to function, in a lot of pain, and then
No kidding.
yeah, he's like toast. Look at
Did
it.
he
You can't
die?
even. I have no idea, but it
He
was
didn't
like
die.
it was insane. I hope not. Then it was
What a
like
bozo.
that'd be like watching like a snuff film. I don't want to actually see
Oh
him die.
my God.
I just want. I was
Oh
just
my
thought
God.
don't do that.
No.
That's
I'm
not
doing that.
Dave the Bugman wouldn't recommend it.
No.
Neither would Brian Fellows back.
No,
then.
he would not.
Don't
Exterminate,
eat a wasp.
eliminate.
I'm Brian Fellow.
According to NFL.com, Tottenham Hotspur and the NFL announced the expansion of their partnership through the 2029-2030 season. Going to keep 2 NFL games at that stadium. That's a brand new
It's
stadium.
like
That's
the
where,
official London home of the NFL here.
Yeah,
for
it's a
them.
brand new stadium that they've just built recently. I think there's American ownership at Tottenham a little bit too, so there's probably some ties there. We always thought the Jaguars would end up there, but not anymore. Our old QB1, Baker Mayfield, quite an interesting week in Minnesota from trash-talking DBs and apparently knowing defensive signals. Bucks. I mentioned this yesterday when he said, "I got it. We got all their signals." Well, Baker, did you hear him today? I do miss this Baker. Like, so he's at this press conference. He's ready, right, for the questions about the signs, and he goes, "Well, I am from Texas. I'm a Texas Rangers fan, not an Astros fan, so I don't steal signs. We don't do that here," which I thought was funny of him.
Great. Chesty, fun, front-running
I
Baker
love it.
is great.
It's so fun.
Great.
Love it
Listen,
when
they
it's all
should be
going
too.
good.
Don't they play some
play
garbage?
the Bears.
Yeah, they played
The Bears.
By the way, I've never been more at. I'm disgusted. One of our fantasy teams when I got Fields, and I'm trying to like really.
Yeah.
The ultimate goal with all this is a reverse jinx that gets him going, but like I'm out.
How about no one in that building having any answer for the performance on Sunday? No one.
How
Like
about-
every press conference has been awkward. And then Chase Claypool is.
Well, the Claypool stuff.
Did you see Kurt Warner?
Did you see Claypool? Just like how he played.
I don't understand. Why is he even out there?
How did it?
What
get
is
that
wrong
way?
with that guy?
I don't know. They gave up.
How did they give him a 2?
Essentially a 1 because it was one of the first picks of the second round.
If you're 6'4" and talented and all of those things, and he appeared to be at one point, and the Steelers, who are able to get the best out of all these receivers, are saying, we're going to get rid of him. You offer them a 7, not a 2, because clearly they're done with him.
The
2?
red flag should have been the size of the state of Texas.
Yes.
On that, yeah.
I mean, Kurt Warner had a bunch of things where he was like breaking down Fields and was like, as a quarterback, I would have been like, what is this call? You're giving me no chance for success.
No, there is. There's a lot of that. It's really strange. I don't.
By the way, it's how the Steelers fans right now feel about their OC.
They do.
Oh,
they're
my
not, they're not
goodness.
happy with him at all.
No.
Aaron Rodgers with a little bit of a Dark Knight reference here, giving a very emotional response on Instagram, and then quotes Harvey Dent, "The night is darkest before the dawn, and I shall rise again," was the final line of the post. Robert Saleh saying he would be shocked if Rodgers went out this way. They're all certainly hoping for that, but he's a man, he's 40 now, and he's going to be trying to rehab an Achilles for the course of the next year.
Which is not a fun rehab.
Nope, can't imagine.
That's what's so... One of the things that's so hard about the NFL is, and injuries are such it is a part of this sport, is that a guy like that gets hurt. Aaron Rodgers was the center of he was the center of, really, in many ways, the football universe this year.
He had a 5-episode, hour-long HBO series dedicated almost entirely to him.
That's right. Look at him closing deals. We're closing deals today.
Closing deals. Little book. Little notes. Some notes. Jeez. It's getting things done.
The official animal warden of the show, D'Souza.
Give me D'Souza's
Looks
take
like
on
a
this.
cicada wasp.
Cicada
They normally live in the ground.
No.
Harmless to humans, he said. I don't think Bo is
No,
buying
I don't
into
buy
I'm
that.
not taking that risk.
I'm not taking that risk
With
either.
all due respect to Souza, I'm not taking that risk. So these guys they burrowed up. They're way up. I mean, it's way up in there. Like, whoever's coming to exterminate tomorrow, we're going to need
Sending him
ladders.
another picture.
We're going to need ladders.
Let me tell you this right now.
I'm not.
I know that I saw in Philly what you're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
I have not been that afraid of a winged creature since those horrifying monkeys in Wizard of Oz as a young person.
That movie sucks.
It's
and I don't know
also terrifying.
why. It's terrifying. I don't know why people. I don't know why people think.
There it is.
If you're a man and you're 40 or a woman and you're 40, your parents made you watch that ridiculous movie
All the time.
every year.
Yeah.
It was on every year, and you'd have to watch
It was like Thanksgiving or
yes,
Christmas.
That
right
movie
around yeah.
sucks. It sucks with a capital S.
Not great.
And it's terrifying.
But those, I'm
and
saying,
those monkeys with wings.
Yeah.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah, terrifying.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
Loping around with the witch. Come on.
Very green.
My kids have not seen Wizard of Oz.
What's the point?
What's the point?
Show them like Princess Bride. That
We've
should
done
be the
all
movie
that. Yeah,
for
that's
the
it.
children.
We got
Goonies.
There's
Have
all
they seen
sorts
Goonies?
of fun. Of course, there's all sorts of fun ones out there. You don't need to do that.
No.
No one needs to see Wizard of Oz.
By the way,
what do you got?
One of my buddies texted us. Tell the boys the cream is back in stock at Homage.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the cream.
Our coats, we've modeled. I'll model it once we get into coat weather.
The cream starters are back. That is true.
They're
That's
beautiful.
True. They are gorgeous. Though always limit the creams go quick. The brown and the orange hang around a little bit, but the creams are
because the cream is
supreme. You're wearing the gorgeous
Yes,
cream
he
right
is.
now.
We're right now. Yeah, from Milan.
Milan to Minsk.
From Milan.
What was that? What was a Seinfeld movie that was Milan to Minsk?
I don't know, but I do
Is
Milan.
it the raincoats?
Rochelle.
Oh, that's
Rochelle
That's
was from Milan to Minsk.
My my Milan references from SNL when Will Ferrell's doing he's a designer and he answers from his phone's like this big.
Oh yeah,
from Milan.
From Milan.
Yeah.
That's right. We got to do the fantasy minute. You want to break now, or should we just do it
I'd like
now?
to break.
Take a quick break. Quick
Yeah,
break.
what-
All right.
We'll do
what
it
about
before
let's do this before we.
Well, we're running out of time on it all. Is the problem? Like you're gonna have to break, and then so I think we better break. We'll break, and we'll save that. That's good for tomorrow.
We can just stack, and then we'll do fantasy going into Mr. Watson's.
All right,
press.
so we'll do.
Perfect.
So we're gonna take a quick time out,
Okay.
and then we'll do the fantasy minute, and then you'll hear from Deshaun Watson. So that's the way this is gonna go. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. When a medical mistake causes you injury, calls the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800 Elk, Ohio. Elk and Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time for the Fantasy Minute presented by Scaleco Capital. Scaleco Capital investing locally in the Midwest. All right, Dr. Z, 3 guys. People need to start this weekend. Who do you like? Lots of shakeups.
Lots going on in the fantasy world. Week 1 was kind of a low-scoring week all over the place. We gave you some good David Montgomery advice, so we'll hopefully keep some of that going. I want to say this, though, before I get into fantasy, because I was, as we're in here, I'm going through various things on here. Mm-hmm. So I get, courtesy of the great Hoff, this new packet of information, and it has next-gen stats stuff on it, like all this cool stuff. Right?
Yeah.
So man coverage percent, zone coverage percent, single high percent, split safe percent. And I used to have to do all that manually by going through Pro Football Focus Ultimate and being like, how many times they play cover 1, how many times they play cover 2, 3, 4, all of that. And then add up, well, this is a split safety, this is a single high, and do it myself. Here's the thing. These numbers and Pro Football Focus's numbers couldn't be more different. So, for example, it says that they played the Steelers man coverage 41% of the time in Week 1. According to Pro Football Focus, they played man coverage 20% of the time in Week 1.
So what do you do there?
I don't know. I'm going to go. It's kind of throwing me for a loop.
That's a heck of a loop.
It kind of made me
those
mad.
Those are 2 of the most respected, so Next Gen and PFF.
Here's what I'm going to go with is the Next Gen, and the reason, and it's not because I don't respect PFF, but because this is what's handed out by the National Football League. This is their, intel.
This is their thing, yeah.
So I'm just going to go with that. But
I'm quite confused.
This says right here that they played zone 58% of the time, the Steelers in Week 1, 28th in the NFL. They were 5th, obviously, in this. If you add up just their cover 3 and cover 2, I haven't even gotten into cover 6, cover 4, whatever else they want to play, it's already at 65%, just on 2 of the particular zones that they could play. So we're having a malfunction at the junction. But we're not going to have that when it comes to fantasy football this week, because we're going to dial some things up for you, and we're going to dial them up right now. All right, quarterbacks. You lose Aaron Rodgers. I hope you got Brock Purdy. I think you can go out there and you can even roll on a 1-week basis. I got no problem Derek Carr against Carolina. I have no problem Mac Jones against Miami. I think that he showed a little bit of life. They're going to have to throw the football quite a bit. So those are some of the guys I think that you can go there. No Matt Stafford this week, though. If I said him earlier, not this week. No Rams. Everybody went out there and you spent $100 million on Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell. Not this week. Not against the Niners. You don't want any part of that. Some other quarterbacks, though, to take a look at for you as you get ready for this week. I think you still start the guys you drafted to start. That's pretty easy.
Yep.
So we'll get into the running backs now. Running backs for you this week. Guys I like. I know he had nothing. I'm talking about 0 in Week 1. I am rolling the dice on DeAndre Swift tonight. Against the Vikings, Gainwell is out. Gainwell played the whole game. Rashad Penny was inactive. There's Boston Scott and Swift. Swift is a stud. They're going to give him
something there. There's a disconnect. I can't understand it.
They traded for him. They're going to give him the ball.
It was a bucket of balls, though.
Start him this.
Let's go.
Start him this week.
All right.
Also, I think you start both of the Detroit guys, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I think they're both good plays for you. And then keep an eye on if Austin Eckler is not able to go this week, because I do like then Kelly a lot. Kelly played a ton.
He was great.
In Week 1 and was very good. Also, if Zach Moss is on your waiver wire with the Colts, go pick him up. He should get everything for them. Wide receivers this week. Remember, we told you about Calvin Ridley. We were just kind of banging that drum. Well, the secret is out. Brandon Ayuk needs to be played every week. It's enough already. Zay Flowers, hate to say it, looked great. I expect that to continue against Cincinnati. Keep him in your lineups as well. And yeah, those are some of the wide receivers that I like. Mike Williams should be back at full strength against Tennessee. I like that. It's just so – I got to tell you something. I'm a big Garrett Wilson guy. This is just devastating.
No, he was – he was my offensive player of the year. I thought he was going to get 1,800 yards.
He's ranked 25th at wide receiver this week by most people.
He's cooked.
All right, tight ends.
You saw what Rodgers said to him, right? What Wilson said Rodgers said to him? Sorry, kid. Doesn't that suck?
That sounds like something that's out of the 1920s.
He said,
Babe Ruth's walking to the thing.
It's like what Joe Green said to the kid in the Coke.
Yeah.
Here you go, kid.
Yeah.
Sorry, kid.
Sorry, kid.
Oh.
Tight ends. Hawkinson. Goddard had no catches week 1. He will not have no catches this week. In fact, I think they're going to feature him quite a bit tonight. I like him a lot.
If Travis Kelce's on your waiver wire, scoop him up, because I think
he better not be. And keep an eye on Laporta. You talked him up. He helped me out. He came in. I thought he had a nice game. And then right now, if somebody cut Ferguson, the tight end for Jake Ferguson, the tight end for Dallas, they didn't throw the ball on that game. They didn't have to. That wasn't a real game. I think he's going to be pretty good. And then if we need to get on the wire real quick for a defense this week, I like the Saints against Carolina as a pickup and play. I like us a ton against the Steelers. And the G-Men, they will bounce back against Arizona.
Download the Bally Bet app today. Kick off the season with a second chance bet up to $100. Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Must be 21 or older. Ohio only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER for more. In addition to that, when a medical mistake causes you injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Elk & Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. And now let's head to the podium and Deshaun Watson.
What do you think when you look at that?
You're down.
Who's defense,
Deshaun? A well-coached group that flies around, that wants to create problems for the offense, try to create turnovers and pitch you in long distances so their front can get after you a little bit.
Obviously, the finale last year wasn't the offense's best game. So when you go back and watch that film, what stands out to you the most?
We had our opportunities we didn't capitalize on, and we just got to go out there and just pretty much keep pushing forward. But we're not thinking about last year. We're focused on what we can do on Monday night.
I heard you say somewhere that you kind of overcompensated and you were trying to grip the ball a little bit too hard in this past game. I mean, I guess because it was slipping out of your hand. Can you sort of describe how that happened and how do you why do you think your passing game is going to look so much better than it
it factored on both sides. It wasn't just the Cleveland Browns passing game. It was the Cincinnati Bengals passing game too. So, both sides was having problems with the weather. It was very, very wet, soaked. The ball was heavy. So, sometimes the weather factor in and you got to change your game plan. But, hopefully it's clear skies on Monday night and we can really get, the offense going and throw the ball around a little bit.
This is your first game.
Gripping it too hard? I mean, is that what you thought you were doing?
It's part of it. It's just, you just got to try to factor and try to control the ball so it don't slip out your hand.
This is your first Monday night game as a Cleveland Brown. Does that stage excite you?
It's prime time. It's an awesome opportunity, for us to be able to go out there and show the world what we got and what we can be. So, But at the end of the day, it's still football. You still got to go out there and play 60 minutes or plus, and you just got to do your job.
Even though you weren't able to connect on some of those deep balls, especially the two to Marquise, do you go back and look at the film there and at least get excited about the fact that those plays were there to be made?
Yeah, the opportunities was there. We didn't capitalize on them, and there are going to be more opportunities for, deep shots down the field. We just got to make sure we pick out our spots when we want to take them, and hopefully, this game we can capitalize on those and make big plays and, get this offense, really explosive.
Hey, Deshaun, DeWan was able to hold his own against the Bengals. He's got a big task this week if he's got TJ. How confident are you in the rookie?
Well, I'm very confident. He likes the challenge. He likes to be able to go out there and just play football and do whatever he can for this team. And, he's been learning from all the guys across the line, asking questions. I see him on the side talking to Joel, talking to Wyatt, talking to Jed, and all these guys. And, Bill Callahan, he's going to make sure that he's ready and prepared to go. So it's a great task for him, and I'm excited for his opportunity.
Any trouble seeing over him?
I'm going to have to definitely, move in the pocket a little bit to create some windows for myself.
How about TJ Watt with TJ across from you and coming at you half the time? How does that impact the game plan and you getting, the ball out quickly and all the things that you have to do against him?
Yeah, he's a defensive player of the year. He's if not the best player, defensive guy, one of the top 5 defensive guys in the league. So you have to give your respect to TJ and what he does, not just for himself, but for that organization. So, all, respect to him and the things he do. But, at the end of the day, you can't just revolve, a game plan all around just one person, because then you're limiting yourself. And so, guys got to, like we mentioned earlier, guys got to block one-on-one. Guys got to, step up to the challenge and be able to do that. So, it's a great task, but, you got to give his flowers to number 90.
We know how dangerous you can be when you hang onto the ball and you extend plays and make something happen like that. So how do you kind of strike that balance between, okay, I can make something happen if I hold on to it, versus I should get rid of the ball quickly on this play because there's a TJ Watt coming or because of the pass rush?
It just all depends on the play. If it's a quick game, the ball got to come out. We can't hold it. If it's drop back and move in the pocket, and then you can hold it a little bit longer. But you just got to pick your spots on where you're at on the field and the situation of the game. And sometimes you capitalize and sometimes the defense wins. So you just got to win with that and take it as it comes.
Deshaun, the Steelers are 20-0 in their last 20 home games. Not Monday Night Football. Obviously, the Browns haven't beat them in the regular season since 2003. How do you start to change that trend?
You just got to go out there and win. You got to go out there and earn it. They're not going to give it to us. That's a very impressive stat for them. But when we go in there, we can't, think about that stat. It's a 2023 year. We can't focus on the past, and we got to try to break that tradition that they have going. So, but it's not going to be easy. It's definitely going to be a tough task, and I think we have the team that can go in there and do it.
You were able to experience a game there last year, the last game of the year. Anything particular about that environment that makes it kind of tougher than?
Yeah, I mean, they have a great fan base. They support their team, and the defense really rallies around that energy. And they just try to make you do things that you're not, you would normally do. Get you kind of psyched out about, thinking about other things. But we got to lock in, be laser focused, and just go in there and block all the noise out and execute the game plan.
Has Miles ever shown you between legs crossover hesitation?
Yeah, we've seen it a couple times. When we was practicing during training camp, he kind of did it, certain walkthroughs and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, Miles, he can do whatever he wants to do.
What is a quarterback thinking when you see a guy, like, obviously he's playing with that kind of confidence to do that kind of stuff pre-snap?
Just make sure you block him. That's the only thing I can really say.
Deshaun, we saw what Nick Chubb did last week. Well, how does his threat every time do you think affect the defense?
Yeah, I mean, because you might think you have him in the backfield and you can break a tackle and gain 5, even 10 plus yards. And I think, with him carrying the ball, this is definitely a big bonus for our offense, a big bonus for our team. So Chubb is going to be Chubb and do what he do. He's going to work, and he's going to get what he needs to get.
How much does it help you to have Miles here to go against in practice, every single day to prepare you for the best in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, Miles is the best in the NFL, as just like number 90 and other guys around the league. But it's a great task, not just for myself, but for our O-line, to be able to go against him and Zadarius and the guys that we have up front. So whenever we step out there on the field on Sundays or whenever we do, they're prepared and can hopefully match up to that opportunity.
You mentioned the offensive line. I know you say you moved on from last year, but the thing that you were sacked 7 times the last time you played Pittsburgh, I assume that's a high number. That's ringing in the minds of you and the offensive line, right?
No, we're not worried about that. I mean, if you look at that game, I think 4 of the sacks came in the last 2 minutes. So where they were dropping back, hanging on the ball, things like that. So, like I said, we moved on from last year's game, and we got to focus on Monday, and we can't, worry about anything that happened in the past.
Wyatt Teller's 25-yard block went viral this week. When you guys were sitting in the film room and you see that up there on the big screen, what does that do for the team?
I mean, it motivates the team. Everyone saw it. Everyone was, hyped for Wyatt, and it just challenges everyone else around to finish plays like that. So, Wyatt is a guy that's going to finish to the T. And he's going to make sure he throws his body around for this organization, for these guys that's carrying the ball, and myself. So, why we love that guy, and just make sure he just stay healthy while he's doing that too. But outside of that, keep doing it.
How excited are you to break out those white unis on a primetime game?
Oh, super excited. The unis are fresh, they're pretty clean, and it's another excitement for us to go out there and just go out there and perform.
The number of times you run with the ball has been pretty consistent your whole career. It's usually 5 to 6 times a game. It's been consistent that way. Do you ever go into a game thinking, I can be more effective against this team running, or does it just happen?
Yeah, I just let it happen. It just depends on the game plan, so I just kind of let it happen and let whatever Kevin calls, and we just kind of go with the flow of the game.
John, what would a 2-0 start mean, especially with both games coming inside the division?
I mean, it'd be huge. It's a huge start. I mean, like you just said, like 2 divisional teams, one at home, one on the road. I mean, it's very, very big. So yeah, it'd be huge for us. And but our main focus each and every week just try to go 1-0. So our mentality right now, we're 0-0, and we try to do 1-0 Monday night.
Deshaun, after the Aaron Rodgers injury, there's a lot of focus on turf versus grass. As somebody who played for a couple of years on a turf surface, is turf less safe than grass in your
30-30
between the natural surface and the artificial?
I mean, if I had a preference, I'd definitely take grass. I think it's a little bit more forgiving on the knees and the ankles and things like that. The injury with A-Rod, that's tough. Not just for the Jets, but for the league, for the NFL. I mean, that was a great storyline to have him in New York, and they had a great team, and he was going to do special things. And I'm a fan of him, but to see him go down like that, that's tough. So I'm sending my prayers towards him. But if I had to pick, I'll pick grass.
You're up.
There you go. There's your quarterback at the podium. Coming up next, a little bit of matchup, my friend. Take a look at the Browns' offense. By the way, we look spectacular in the white lids. They're out on the practice field right now. They're matriculating their way around the social. But we'll take a look at our offense versus their defense coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fans, avocados from Peru will be at the Avon Meyer location 1 to 3 on Friday, September 15th. Stop by to enter the Ultimate Football Sweepstakes. Your chance to win that 2023 Ford Lightning electric truck. Play games, win prizes. Meet Browns legend Kevin Mack. For more information, visit Cleveland Browns Facebook page, and you can find it there. Time for the matchup presented by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. And for that, the Browns offense versus the Steelers defense, we turn to Dr. Z.
Oh, kids. Here we go. Browns and the Steelers. So I'm just looking at this because I thought this was going to be a fun part of the matchup is to give some of these facts about what the teams do. How is this possible?
All right.
Next Gen Stats has 29% blitz rate for the Steelers.
All right.
Pro Football Focus has 35.3%.
I guess the question is, can one of these not identify what is happening?
A blitz, it should just mean...
It should be straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
More than 5 rushers. Now that could also be maybe they I don't know.
There are
blitzes where you only bring 4.
Let's just take this for a moment. Just real quick, audience. We'll get back to the matchup in a second. Just for the audience. There are very few things. You're a highly intelligent man. There are very few things that get your brain in a true pretzel.
I'm like pissed right now.
But you are really in a pretzel right now. Like this is you in this is all not break. You can feel it though. Trying to understand. It's like you've been lied to your whole life. This reminds me of the fireworks 4th of July. I imagine a similar situation when Aunt What's-Her-Nuts said, "This is not for you. This is for the birthday of America." Annie Sue wrecked it for you.
Yep.
That I imagine a similar like what? That's what's happened right now. This Next Gen Stats PFF. These are your people.
Yeah.
You count on them both independently.
I just
and
feel
yet
like
they don't see the game the same.
In my mind, there needs to be a call between the two of them once a week to go through it and be like, all right, let's normalize this because this makes no sense.
I wonder if you are the first person to notice this.
So they did not, and I'll be honest with you, I preferred the old method better. I don't know if you remember this one sheeter I would always print out.
Yeah, for sure.
What it used to have was, instead of it being all next-gen stats types of stuff, it was just like the basic stats, but a very thorough categories. Sacks, yards, yards per play, blah, 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 blah. And then their rank in the NFL, which was a very handy thing to have up here and be like, oh, they're number 2 on third downs. Oh, they're number 4, against the pass. Like, now this is all, well, they were in pistol 0% of the time. Okay. Go back to the old way. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And by the way, this would have kept me away from being like I'm writing like I'm not happy about it at all.
No,
anyway,
and there's confusion.
Here's the matchup.
Right, with confusion and anger. There's a simmering anger underneath the surface.
Yeah, I'm not pleased. All right, here's the fact of the matter. Week 1, Steelers give 30 points to the Niners. They give 188 on the ground, 203 through the air, net 391 total yards. For comparison's sake, last year they gave up 100 yards per game on the ground, 330 total overall. They gave up 6 of 13 on third down and then 1 of 1 on fourth down. So really they converted 7 of 13 go-for-it situations. That allowed them, that's over 50%. Last year the Steelers were at 39% on third downs allowed. The Niners went 2 for 2 in the red zone. Last year the Steelers were at 55% in the red zone. This is a defense that will be significantly worse without Cam Hayward, the 6-time Pro Bowler, 6 straight, as a matter of fact, guy who had 11.5 sacks in his career against the Cleveland Browns, 17 tackles for loss, 21 hits in 19 games, 78.5 sacks for his career as well overall. They're not going to have Cam Hayward. So Isaiah Loudermilk, who has not really played much, he has 1 career sack. He's got, had 7 tackles last year. He's going to play a lot more. Keanu Benton, their rookie second-rounder out of Wisconsin, is going to play a lot more. Montravius Adams, who is really just a ginormous space eater, he's going to play more. He's a guy who has 1.5 sacks in 73 games. He literally is just a run stuffer. Then they got Larry Ogunjobi, who last year had 1.5 sacks, former Brown.
I like Larry O.
1.5 sacks against the Browns.
That's right.
And he had 1.5 sacks for the season. I like him as well. This defense is about really their outside linebackers, the edge rushers, T.J. Watt, Highsmith. Last year, Highsmith career high 14.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles. He was tied for 6th in the NFL in sacks, first with 5 forced fumbles. 4th, he had 4 strip sacks, which were second. He had 4 sacks in 2 games against the Browns. Watt only played in 1 game against the Browns last year, had half a sack. Last year was limited to just 9 games, 5.5 sacks for him there. But he's got 80.5 career sacks. In fact, since coming in the league in 2017, T.J. Watt is first in the NFL in sacks, quarterback hits, forced fumbles, and second in tackles for loss. He is an absolute monster. He has 15 sacks against the Cleveland Browns in his career, most against any team, and had his career high 4 sacks against the Browns in 21. He was the Defensive Player of the Year and led the NFL in sacks in 2021. So pretty darn good. He's pretty good. So you got to worry about him on one side, Highsmith on the other. On the back end of their defense, it's all about Minkah Fitzpatrick, the 3-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro. He has 5 defensive touchdowns since 2018, most in the NFL. One of those was a pick 6 against the Browns. Remember that started the game in 2020 that was an ugly, ugly game for the Browns. They brought in Pat Pete, who actually had a very nice year for Minnesota last year. 5 picks, 15 passes defensed. Last week, though, we talked about it, talked trash, got burned a little bit. Got burned quite a bit, I should say, did Pat Pete. 8-time Pro Bowler, though, from 2011 to 2018. None since. 3-time first-team All-Pro. He did have an interception versus the Browns back in 2019 as a member of the Arizona Cardinals in that ugly game down there in the Valley of the Sun. They also have Levi Wallace on the other side coming off of 4 interception, career-high 13 pass defense last year. Was one of the better corners in the league from an undrafted free agent out of Buffalo by the Buffalo Bills. He had an interception of Watson in that game last year when we played them. They also have Damontae Kazee, who is a safety, had 7 interceptions in 2018, 14 for his career last year, 2 picks in 9 games, one of them, again, against the Browns and Watson. They played more base than anybody, really, in the opening game. Not a ton of nickel. That actually jives on both of them. That's nice to see. That, I feel like that's just simple counting. Like, how many corners are there?
You would think.
That feels pretty simple. But they played some big dime or in big nickel with KZ, Keanu Neal, the former first-rounder of the Falcons, who joined the team after spending 22 with Tampa Bay, and Minkah, and then the 2 corners, Peterson and Wallace. They play a lot of single high safety. They play a lot of man 1. They play a lot of cover 3. It's going to be one-on-one on the outside for most of the game. That's where the Niners got them on kind of those inward breaking routes, starting off on the outside, working one-on-one on the 2 corners, Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and so that's what it is. Totally remade middle of their linebacking core. They brought in Cole Holcomb. They brought in Landon Roberts and Quan Alexander. So both of these guys, all 3 of those guys can play. Holcomb led them in snaps. Alexander was second. Alexander 8 career interceptions, playing now for his 5th team. But he's a guy who's been pretty good in coverage his whole career. Holcomb, good in coverage for his career as well. He's got a couple 100 tackle seasons, and in last year he was hurt. But in 21, he had 142 tackles and 2 picks for Washington. Roberts had his first 100 tackle season of his career last year, was the Mike for the Miami Dolphins. Also had 10 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. Watching the Niners game, he played more when they thought they were running. Holcomb played more, just period. And then Alexander would come in when they thought it could be either or, but to play the pass. When they went sub, Roberts came off, and it was Holcomb and Alexander as the 2 inside linebackers. So this is a defense that over at the end of last year allowed 17 or fewer points in the final 7 games of the season. In fact, over those final 7 games, they give just 14.6 points per game and 266 total yards, which were both first in the NFL. They give 30 yards and 30 points and almost 400 yards of offense to the Niners in week number 1. So for us, it's going to be keeping Deshaun Watson clean. Obviously, I think you can run it. They give up 5.2 yards per carry when Cam Hayward is not on the field. Remember, that's not for injury. That just means when he was physically not on the field over the last 2 seasons. So I think that's where you're going to have to pound them with Nick Chubb up the middle, play action, get the ball out quick, because you're not going to have a ton of time to throw against a very, very good pass rush led by those 2 guys on the edge.
This feels like a Nicholas Jamal Chubb.
A lot of Chubb. And
right
I think
where Cam Hayward was, just
right up the middle,
and then right at TJ.
Yes, and run at TJ. Look, Jed Wills,
do it that way,
and DeJuan Jones against TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. Those are going to be big tests for the Cleveland Browns, and they're going to go a long way to determining the outcome of this game for the Browns offense. I think defensively, we'll get to that later, I think that they could stifle them, but offensively, where the pressure is going to come from. They don't have a lot of guys on the interior who are pass rushers with the loss of Cam Hayward.
No.
Literally none. Armon Watts has 8 career sacks. He didn't even play last week. Maybe he'll be active this week. Isaiah Loudermilk has 1 career sack. Larry Ogunjobi had 14 and a half sacks with the Browns, 23 career sacks. So he's probably their best now interior pass rusher that they've got left. And the Browns, hopefully they can handle Larry Ogunjobi.
It's going to be a fun one.
It should be. I feel very good about.
Yeah.
I feel very good about our ability to go out there, run our offense, execute it against this team, and for our defense to be stifling to what really is a subpar offense.
There you have it. It is a Thursday. It is a mailbag edition coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Need a new roof on your home? Never replace your roof again with the Renew Home Exteriors Replace Once for Life warranty this month with the purchase of a new roof. By the way, get this done. It's getting colder. I walked Buddy Garrity this morning. It's like 46 degrees this morning.
It is not warm at night.
No, it's chilly. Get this free installation on a solar-powered attic fan. They're going to help take the load off your attic, keep your attic venting properly. Get the new roof. Get it done before it gets bad. Install today. Save with no interest for 24 months. Renew Home Exterior, superior products and superior service. Visit RenewEstimate.com for more. Time for a Mailbag Thursday presented by Cross Country Mortgage, official mortgage partner of your Cleveland Browns. When it comes to financing, we always get you home. Visit CCM.com today. Equal housing opportunity. MLS 3029. Hello, Gibby.
Gentlemen, welcome to Thursday/Wednesday. Here at the Cross Country Mortgage Campus. You can tweet your questions to us at Browns_daily. Steph Heineman.
All right.
Born in Stark County, Ohio, residing in Göttingen, Germany.
Oh, I like that.
Yep.
Gottingen. How were the kickoff and punt performances on Sunday? Because we talked a lot about offense and defense. Will Bubba make any changes before
honest to God,
2?
like if you were to say, this is where this is the lead in, this is the question. If you were to say, guess 100 guesses for what the question will be, that would not have been on my list of 100.
Not on the bingo card today.
Nope.
And here we are.
Here's the best. Z will give you the right answer on all of this. Here's what I would say, though, on kick game, punt game. If you don't ever hear about it, it wins.
Correct. All right. So we gave up 22.5 yards per return on 2 kickoff returns. Only gave up 2 returns on 6 kicks, 4 touchbacks, and their average field position was right at 25. So pretty neutral right there. Solid. If I were to look at our punt coverage, our punt coverage was pretty good. And Corey Borges had a solid game. Average 44 yards net, 8 yards per return. Pretty good. 4.26 seconds of hang time. I think that's the kind of stuff you're looking at. Looking there, 7 punts, 331 yards. So I solid. And then we all know about the field goals. Field goals were electric.
Yeah, and I would say there were a couple punts that were a little rough, but it was weather related because they had trouble punting at the same thing that we did.
Yeah. And Dustin Hopkins was perfect. So all in all, good. We didn't have a single kick return. We just had a couple of punt returns, and nothing much came out of them.
All right. Appreciate the question. H. Snyder tweets at the show. Morning, gents. I have a 2nd grader and a 4th grader.
Same.
Just show them Air Force One. Kind of feel like that might be a little bit intense for that.
On the 2, that could be a lot, yeah.
Also showed them The Fugitive and Jaws. I definitely don't think Jaws was probably appropriate. What other movies you got for
grader,
me?
brother?
Go
terrifying.
Browns.
So I mean,
what
we talked
other
about
movies. What
other movies?
What else you got? He has shown his kids Jaws.
I don't think you have to go all the way that far. Who am I to tell you how to parent? God bless.
Yes.
I waited till 6th grade for NBC to see an R-rated movie with me. Going into 6th grade, it was 5th grade. Going into 6th grade, we did Die Hard, which he and I chronicled. But there's a lot of really good stuff without having to go that way.
Princess Bride.
I feel
Goonies.
like Jaws is keeping the kids up at night.
The Jumanji movies.
Oh yeah, the National Treasure movies are great.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, there's the one with what's the James Cameron one in the water? The other world where he basically just took the American
Avatar?
West. That one. There's a kid-friendly version of that on Disney Plus that takes out some of the stuff. Like that's a great one. Star Wars is awesome. Watch all the Star Wars stuff.
You're totally on board.
Yeah, there's all sorts of good stuff. At that age, I mean, they're into. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Go through the classic Disney movies too. Old Davy Crockett's.
Oh yeah. All that's a win.
Blackbeard's Ghost. Swiss Family Robinson.
Swiss Family Robinson's pure joy.
It is
so great.
Parenthood's a great movie.
JC in the 330. Question for Nathan: how much was the bill when y'all went to that steakhouse with the Hoff in Philly? It was a lot.
Immense.
Big.
Huge.
It was big. I still think it stayed in the 3 digits though, but it was big.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I had we used to do when I before the children and stuff. I do a guys weekend and we would do credit card roulette for the bill on one steakhouse.
Used to do it at Sushi Rock on Mondays.
Yeah. And we were at Harbor 60 in Toronto, which is like the steak joint in Toronto.
Yeah.
And we went there, and the bill came, and there were 8 of us, and it was a all-in type of night for everybody.
Yeah.
And they set up to do the credit card roulette, and I go, I got to put an end to this. I got to stop it. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, this isn't going to go well for somebody. And to the point, like, really not well.
Yeah.
And to the standpoint of, like, trying to explain this to a wife, or even if you have different financial situations, like, this could hurt somebody for months.
Yeah.
To get hit with this.
This is a big
like,
bill
let's not be silly on this. Like, this is a great night. Like, let's not ruin a vacation with somebody getting hit with this.
Right. Let's all enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. And then we did. Everybody just split it. And then it was fine. Then it's okay. You can deal with that.
Spirit of CBD.
That's a good one.
If
I like this.
Senior Swag was a movie character, who would he be?
Clooney in Ocean's 11.
Wow.
Yeah, I like that.
Kind of a little bit of Pitt, too, though. A little bit of Pitt in Ocean's 11, too. Kind of a...
That's where the swag.
I mean, they both have a lot. I mean, I'm talking about 2 of the swaggiest dudes ever.
He also has a lot of, without the superhero aspect of it, Iron Man in his normal life.
Yeah, a little bit of that. That's fair.
He's a pretty swaggy guy.
Pretty swaggy
Downey
guy.
Jr.
Yeah, lots. Yeah. I think, like, the way that... I think from an... I will say this. Probably maybe, like, probably Pitt in the Oceans is even better because Swag's appearance...
Right now, though...
Like, the outfits he's got bringing are so... He's got so much going on. It's such a style. I mean, it's...
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's... Danny Ocean's kind of always dressed the same, but Rusty's wearing a lot of different stuff.
I think he also has some of... Now, I understand the true occupation, but when he got to Vegas and the way that he dressed himself in Vegas, Bradley Cooper's character in The Hangover, he's got some of that panache to him.
A little bit of that.
Swag.
A little bit of that.
He's got a little Roger Sterling as well.
Oh, yeah.
Dripped in there.
Yep. These are incredibly flattering things.
They are.
And appropriate for the man.
I would take any of these.
All of these win. Yeah.
And then every now and then he throws in like a John Dutton.
Yeah, there was he had a real Western Renaissance at one point where there was a lot of like, I think he's going to go round up cattle.
Yeah.
He was wearing Lucchese's at one point.
Yeah. Not so much anymore.
No.
It seems like that's yesteryear.
The Bud Lighter Man.
That was a good question, though. That's the kind of questions that we're looking for. Those are the questions we're looking for. That was well done.
What are Cavins?
Excuse me?
Cavins at Costco.
That's cabins misspelled.
Read the question. Let's see if we can get the context.
Well, and that's why I was trying to figure it out before I go down this road. So I picked up some Cavins at Costco because I've worn them before and they're quite comfortable. New ones have a fly, old ones don't. Got me thinking that I've never used the fly.
Do you know what they are, Uno?
Huh?
Uno seems like he knows what they are.
I wanted to say Calvin Klein's. He meant to say Calvin's.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Because I can't find.
I'll hope for
the only
best. I don't know
Cavins
what a
I can
Cavins
find
is.
are milk drinks.
Yeah.
They
I
have
don't know
7
what that
delicious
is.
flavors of milk.
Yeah, I saw that earlier when
All
I was
right.
doing my research.
So what's
on
the
this.
question he wants to know about?
Got me thinking that I've never used the fly as it's intended. Was wondering if anyone else.
So it's an underwear question. It's Calvin Klein's. He's asking about the apparatus that is in some underwear where you weave it through versus just the pull down.
I love a pull down.
No.
I like I have like a. I think they're called Tommy.
Oh, the Tommy John has the better. That's an easier fly there.
Yeah.
That's their biggest selling point.
It's great.
It's a great selling
I love
point.
those.
Yeah.
They're
good. They're very good.
Highly recommend them.
Yep.
Love a dog today. Number of hoodies owned.
I don't want to do that.
In the
Next.
actual
Go
rotation.
dying on me, Uno.
In my actual rotation right now, I picked up like 5 in the last not too long. At least 20. And I would say of like ones that I really like, probably in like the dozen range. But how many do I have in my home? Hundreds.
The hoodie quarter zip combo at my disposal if I ever wanted to like.
I wasn't even counting my
run it
T-shirt
out.
hoodies. I have hundreds.
Like 100. I mean, it could go. I could. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd go to Christmas and not run it back.
Gotta say, I was stunned to see you coming in a crew neck today.
Yeah. And I saw it. I said, we'll wear this today.
I like it. That's
go
a throwback.
Yeah, a little bit of a throwback.
Yeah.
Love a dog today.
quite
Thoughts on
soft.
pumpkin
It's very
spice?
Yeah.
I don't.
Thinner than I would have thought.
Yeah, thinner too. Not
Yes.
as anti-pumpkin in general. I think it's.
How about we start talking about pumpkin October 1?
It's also, I think, a fraud that it's like a dessert. Like, I think pumpkin pie sucks. I'm sorry. I think it sucks.
I like sweet potato pie. I prefer that to pumpkin pie in
Same.
terms of that
Or
genre of
pecan pie.
Well,
I
that's
would
a real
prefer.
pie.
That's a real pie. But like, no, I'm not a. I'm anti-pumpkin. In
I don't
general.
have pumpkin spice lattes
No,
or any of that stuff. I do make. Miss K enjoys a pumpkin coffee this time of year.
Of course. So does the
she
blonde.
does.
Of course
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah, they enjoy it.
There is something with pumpkin that I've noticed.
Pumpkin.
With the blonde, and I'm sure you've noticed with Miss K, that this time of year, it's a mood.
Yes.
Pumpkin is a mood.
It's a
for
vibe.
them.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Sucks. It's a
It
vibe.
does. They love it. They are all into it.
It's
I don't know. They're
vibe.
it's so cozy, and they're Ohio girls. That must be the deal. Like, you're just all in on it.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
It's a vibe, man.
Austin V. Unless Jeff George is coming out of retirement
Yes,
to sling it
thank
for the
you.
ATL, I don't think Drake London will be a viable flex option anytime soon. That being said, who would you start in the flex spot? Elijah Moore or D. Swift? Oh, you got some options there.
Swift.
I liked his potential workload. That's boom or bust. If it's full PPR, though, stick with Elijah Moore. I'm big on Elijah Moore. Very bullish. Very bullish. But I think if it's half or not, then DeAndre Swift.
Is that going to be one of the biggest waste of, like, receiving talent in the league? Is what's that or the Jets? Now, the Jets not of their own doing, but, like, Atlanta's got a ton of talent, and they're going to just.
Did you see Arthur Smith's press conference?
Yeah. It's.
Who the fantasy guys care about that?
Okay. Drake London, who you drafted in the first round of the top 10.
Then don't pick these guys in the first round.
Don't pick them.
Right.
Yeah,
Kyle Pitts.
Because I bet he's going to have something to say about it.
Like this.
Yeah.
Throw me the ball.
Please.
I'm so open
Nope.
that I can do this. Nah.
David Whalen, would you rather be an extra in an Oscar-winning movie or the lead in a box office bomb?
Lead bomb.
Lead bomb always.
100%.
Yeah, I don't need
You get paid.
The paycheck.
The paycheck
alone makes that.
They don't
really
think
good.
that you're going to. They don't believe
What
it's
is
going to
like,
be a bomb.
Who would that be? Like someone who was the lead in a bomb,
The
and
kid,
then never heard from again. Like just
the
was
kid from Friday Night Lights.
Oh yeah, Taylor Kitsch. He was.
Yeah, but I bet he made decent.
He actually led several things. They kept trying because he was so good as Tim Riggins that they put him in something. There was another one. There was a kid named Casper Van Dien who was on a.
Dude, he was great in Starship Troopers.
But that was a tremendous bomb.
It shouldn't have been. It's an unbelievable movie.
I know, but it was a tremendous bomb.
Really?
Oh yeah, bombed.
It's a cult classic now.
I know, but it bombed, and it was like you never heard from him again. Denise Richards in that too, I believe.
Take your money, walk off into the sunset.
Yeah, bomb. Give me the bomb, baby.
Bobby time, rapid fire.
Go, Bobby!
Hey, Bobby!
Hey, I remember my first microphone. What's your favorite movie theater candy?
That sounded
movie theater candy. I'm popcorn at movie theaters. If I go, I'm popcorn.
I don't eat candy.
Yeah, popcorn.
I'm a grown man. I don't eat candy.
Yeah,
Big
sorry.
dogs or little dogs?
I do like a peanut M&M if they're there. Big dogs.
Big dogs.
I've never had what I would call a big dog. I've had medium dogs, like a nice lab. Like, where are you calling Buddy Gary a big dog?
I think he's a big dog. Yeah.
Okay. I'm all dogs.
All dogs are pretty great.
Because Asa's small, but she's got a lot of spunk and personality.
There's many of days that I wish that I would have acquiesced to an Asa type.
She's great.
Just for the ease of care.
By the way, yeah. There's so many things that are easy about her. She went to the vet today.
Mm-hmm.
Walks twice a day. Her joy is food.
Yeah.
I always say to my kid, they're like, you're giving her too much food. She's fat, so she's a couple pounds overweight. But when you're only like supposed to be 10 pounds and you're 12 or 13, that means it's a big overweight. But I'm like, they're like, well, you want her to be great her whole life, and this. Yeah, I want her to enjoy her peak years. Like
I said, this same thing.
We took her. This is like I say to my kids, they get so mad. They're like, imagine if all of a sudden you're out hanging around, and then some giant new species we don't even know about comes, and they take you away from everybody else in your species.
Yep.
All your family and relatives. They're like, you're going to live with us now. And the one thing that you're like, okay, this kind of sucks, but I'm getting used to it, and I love you, and thank you for taking care of me and all that. But like, what I really am into is food. And they're like, here's food. They're like, cool.
Yeah.
That's all she wants.
That's it.
Can I get a taste of that flank steak? Sure.
Have a nibble.
Have
Who
a nibble.
gets hurt? Just the tip of the flank.
That's it.
See what it tastes like.
She loves it.
That's it. This one for Rob. Yes, you can. He wants us to give the color of the Browns helmets today at practice is
white.
So much more to come, including a score. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Thursday night football for you.
Did you say Thursday?
Thursday.
Did you say Thursday?
Thursday.
By the way, for the people, if you're tuning in now, and hopefully you'll be tuning in for the scores tomorrow, but this is a teaser.
2 minutes.
Bo went 14-2 last week.
Oh, baby.
That's right. Take a bow. Go ahead. Take a bow. There it is. Can we get an ISO on him here? Griff, this is time for the ISO. There it is. Yes. 14-2.
14-2, baby.
14-2. Just print you have a money prize. I went 9-7.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Nine
Put
and
your kid to college.
9-7, I'll take it. Over 500, but 14-2. So, Bo.
Robust.
13 Thursday night, staying red hot. What you're going to do, remember, it's Thursday. It's Thursday.
So I look at this.
Thursday.
And I see the score. And I say to myself, pretty good New England team at their place. Took care of the scores last week.
They sure did.
Defending NFC champions.
Mm-hmm.
A little sluggish in the second half. Place is going to be a cauldron.
1 minute.
At home. Why is this not even bigger? Why? Why would it not?
Seems crazy.
And then all of a sudden, and I can't do the effect, so I'll point to you on the effect. Who is that? Bootsy, who's at the back door? Is it a cicada-eating hornet with a bald face from Europe that's going to kill us all? Maybe. Or is it
Captain Kirk? You like that?
Let's go. Vikings. Eagles, 60. Vikings, 58. Thursday. Pay attention. Next level coming up next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland, Isaiah, 850 ESPN Cleveland.